So first off, what is a computer simulation? Well, for the purposes of this video, we'll be defining a simulation as something that's meant to act as something else without actually being the thing itself, and a computer as any man-made device that's meant to read and perform instruction written in data. Okay, background. Ada Lovelace was born almost a century before the first modern computer, yet she was the one who first introduced the idea of a machine doing human work. In 1840, Ada Lovelace was assigned to translate mathematician Charles Babbage's lecture on analytical engines into English. Along with doing so, she wrote extensive notes that would later turn into the first description of a computer software. The engine later created is considered the first model of an early computer, making Lovelace the first computer programmer. In 1844, she told a friend about her desire to create a mathematical model for how the brain gives rise to thoughts and nerves to feelings. In her words, a calculus of the nervous system. However, she was way too ahead of her time to see her vision come to life, and the next time anyone actually cared was during the modern revolution, in which computers began to take the place of human workers. In 1850, Alan Turing, father of computer science, published a paper titled Computing Machinery and Intelligence, in which he explored the true extent to which machines could think. He proposed the idea of an imitation game, claiming that true man-made intelligence would be reached at the point where computers have become so advanced as to achieve a human-level complexity, in which the artificial intelligence of a machine could not only match a human's brain power, but achieve behavior that could pass them off as self-conscious entities. The idea was that the imitation game could be passed when an outside party interrogating both man and machine would not be able to distinguish between the two through the questions he asks and the answers he receives. Since then, we've constantly been exploring through fiction what it means to be conscious, and where the line is drawn between machine and man. To this day, we have not yet made an AI that can pass the Turing test, and some speculate it will never be possible.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
There's a reason why. The human brain is a complex thing, containing over 86 billion neurons connected into synapses constantly exchanging, transmitting, and performing instructions written in chemical code. It's almost impossible to imitate the exact functions of our brains. Yet, we're getting closer every day. In 2014, researchers at the International Business Machines Corporation developed a computer chip called True North, which was capable of simulating 1 million neurons and 256 million synapses. While nowhere near the working power of a real brain, True North is able to recognize human faces and other complex tasks. IBM created the chip as part of DARPA's Synapse program, which is short for Systems of Neuromorphic Adaptive Plastic Scalable Electronics. With computer-aided advancing neurotechnology, we hope that in the future we will be able to run realistic simulations of a human brain and hope to learn more about it. Experimentation with real brains is difficult because of biological complications, but with a simulation, we can observe an imitation of the real thing and perform research more easily. This also extends to areas outside the brain. Those in the field of medicine are able to use data gained from simulated experimentation to create innovations like the bionic eye and artificial spinal cords. During the time of Turing, computers were but big number crunchers, and anything of the abstract was but a dream. However, a man called Douglas Engelbart sought to change that. Knowing that any digital information could be shown on a display, he envisioned a wider range of possibilities. After all, here were these amazing machines able to process way more information than one person may see in their entire lifetime. Why not add a screen and show some of what's going on? At first, people ignored his ideas, but it turned out the time was just right for virtual simulations to gain rise. Personal computers were becoming increasingly widespread, while the constant fear of nuclear warfare pushed government forces to dedicate time on improving communication systems and graphics technology. Aircraft designers began experimenting with ways to graphically model airflow data, paving the way for scientific visualization. an advanced form of computer modeling that expresses multiple sets of data as images and simulations. In 1970, Engelbart introduced the first mouse as a way to ease interaction barriers between humans and computers.
The inside was filled with this metal things, and the major interesting parts were these two wheels, one of which is a horizontal wheel and the other is a vertical. If you move sideways, it's one wheel does the rolling and the other does the sliding.
This marked the beginning of the point where humans could actually interact with their computers. Following World War II, the military invested millions of dollars into technology to simulate flying airplanes, as it was cheaper and safer to train pilots on the ground before subjecting them to the hazards of flight. However, they lacked visual feedback. This was changed when video displays were introduced. With the advancement of computer-generated graphics, there is now the possibility of making things that could never exist yet look real. One of the reasons the Hollywood hit Jurassic Park was such a success was because it was among the first to implement CGI, producing a unique film of its kind because what once on the screen was obviously impossible, yet plainly just there. It was the first glimpse into a world of unlimited possibility, and it was only too easy to so soon abandon our mundane everyday world for another full of amazement and wonder. The appeal was found in the marvel of something new and outside the restraints of the physical world. Computer generations were not merely used to make movies more realistic. The Data Glove was a computer interface device that detected hand movements, first bought by NASA in hopes of making experiments with virtual interactive environments. However, its biggest consumer turned out to be the Nintendo Entertainment System.
The Power Glove for your Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you and the games are one.
It wasn't a surprise. Video games were and are extremely appealing to those looking for immersibility, because they provide the audience with something movies and apparently real life can't: the ability to play an active role in your environment. They also temporarily simplify life to a singular goal. By focusing on surviving the zombie apocalypse, destroying the enemy nexus, or disturbing the peace for no apparent reason, all other problems seem to take a backseat. Because they imitate real-life desires of adventure and freedom, it's easy to get drawn into a world similar to yet more liberating than our own. We feel like we're really a part of what we see on the screen, and in that sense, we're experiencing a simulation of our emotions and desires. Outside the entertainment industry, simulations are helping us every day to learn more about the world. In 2014, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology created the seemingly most accurate representation up to date of the universe's timeline and how it evolved after the Big Bang. It acts as a model for astrophysicians to test their uncovered data based on everything else we've discovered since, and figure out exactly what went down the moments following the origins of our universe. A research team at Oak Ridge National Laboratory Center for Molecular Biophysics used molecular dynamics simulation to probe an organic chemical reaction that may have been important in the evolution of ribonucleic acids into early life forms. Their leaders said that computer simulations can provide insight into biological systems that you can't get any other way. Since these structures are changing so much, the dynamic aspects are difficult to understand. The simulation is a good way of doing it. Living organisms are essentially really well-coded computers, which begs the question, how do we know we aren't a simulation ourselves? The answer is, we don't.